What's up, guys? Brandon here. Now, if you're a first-time investor, if you own commercial properties, short-term rentals, if you own a property, period, you are going to want to hear this. Over the past few days, President Trump and Elon Musk have been creating a new government initiative called DOGE to essentially modernize government operations. Now, if you're anything like me, you're probably wondering how this is going to impact the economy and ultimately your real estate investments, including how much money you are or are not going to make if you're not careful. That's why we've got to explore what DOGE is, how it works, and ultimately how it's going to impact your bottom dollar. Now let's get into how DOGE works. Now DOGE stands for the Department of Government Efficiency. That's DOGE. And that's a new federal agency that was established by President Trump's current administration in order to basically modernize government operations. Now, according to its official website, DOGE is designed to streamline administrative processes, reduce all that bureaucratic red tape, and of course, harness digital technologies to enhance government transparency and performance. Now, at its core, those initiatives include consolidating redundant functions across government agencies. We're talking, not two agencies doing the same work. Implementing data-driven performance metrics, which is going to lead to accountability, and ultimately reforming outdated regulations to improve service delivery. Now, if you're like me, you're probably wondering, how in the world could a federal agency have an impact on where and how I buy commercial real estate or vacation rental properties? Well, four things are going to impact you. One, accelerated permitting and approvals, and that will filter down to the local level, but more on that in just a minute. Enhanced data transparency, that's number two. Improved infrastructure and local economic growth, come on. And finally, increased investor confidence, which, as you know, when people are confident in what the government's doing, that the economy is going to be stable, it loosens up their fingers to start spending cash, and purchasing power increases, therefore demand increases for real estate. Guys, there is going to be a digital transformation. DOGE leverages advanced data analytics to optimize internal processes, of course, making government operations more efficient and responsive. Regulatory reform. Now, by systematically reviewing existing policies and eliminating inefficiencies, DOGE aims to create a more business-friendly regulatory environment. Now, this is going to include faster permitting processes and reduced administrative delays. Performance monitoring. Now, the agency sets clear benchmarks for efficiency and accountability across various government sectors, ensuring that reforms lead to measurable improvements. Now let's get into the impact on real estate investing. Number one, accelerated permitting and approvals. Now, for commercial real estate investors, streamlined permitting processes can significantly reduce the time and cost associated with development projects. Faster approvals mean developers can bring to market new projects more quickly, potentially boosting property values. Now, if you are anything like me, you are thinking, how in the world can permitting and approvals boost property values? Because I was thinking the same thing. Now, the faster and more efficiently they get through their administrative processes, that's going to lead to funding and infrastructure projects in the local markets. So federal funding for infrastructure projects like highways, utilities, and public transportation can accelerate local development. Improved infrastructure not only is going to increase property values, but can also streamline local permitting if our projects align with the federal initiatives. Basically, guys, if they can get their stuff done faster, then we benefit from it, and it increases commercial real estate demand. Enhanced data transparency. Now, improved access to government records and clearer regulatory guidelines are going to allow investors to make more informed, savvy investment decisions. Now, greater transparency is going to minimize risk related to regulatory changes or unexpected delays, which is especially beneficial in commercial real estate developments. When the federal government adopts these kinds of initiatives, it's going to trickle down to state and local governments, which ultimately is going to give you a less unpredictable regulatory environment. It's going to remove some of the risk out of your deal because you're going to have clearer guidelines. Number 3 is going to be improved infrastructure and local economic growth. Now, we've kind of already walked through this. Essentially, when the government gets rid of its inefficiencies, redundant programs, and basically spends its money more wisely, then obviously it's going to trickle down into infrastructure projects in the local market. Now, for those of you watching, I want you to think about that bridge that needs to be built in your local community, that interstate that needs to be put in so bad, the utilities that you need in an undeveloped area. Think about those locations. What if those projects were done? How much more valuable would the land around that infrastructure be? So you want to be the person to go out and buy that land and invest in those projects before they hit. Because once they hit, the price values, those property values are going to go up. And we all know that in real estate, you make money when you buy. As a real estate investor, you need to be thinking about where the administration is taking us. And if infrastructure comes in your local market, well, guess what? You need to be the person to have bought the land around that infrastructure. You need to be the person that is thinking about what are the businesses going to be? What's going to be needed in your area, in that local economy? If you need a person to run market analysis, feasibility studies, financial analysis, if you want to know where demand is coming from and where it's headed in your local market, I don't care if you're in New York or in Austin, Texas, if you're in Florida, wherever you are, Miami, Washington, D.C., you pick up the phone and give me a call. You've got a CCIM candidate, a person that is experienced in running these kinds of financial analysis and feasibility studies to make sure that you're making a savvy investment decision. Number 4, increased investor confidence. As you well know, a government that operates more efficiently can foster both a stable and predictable regulatory environment. Now, this stability is likely to attract both domestic and international investors, driving capital into our real estate market, increasing property valuations. Now is the time to invest in commercial real estate. I almost jokingly said, read my lips. Now is the time to invest in commercial real estate. You do not want to miss where the opportunity and the market is headed. Real estate investing, commercial real estate investing is where you want to put your money with this administration. In summary, DOGE is a transformative initiative by the current administration aimed at enhancing government efficiency through digital innovation and regulatory reform. By streamlining processes, improving transparency, and bolstering infrastructure investments, and that is the big one, guys. That is the big signal that you should be zoned in on because of how it's going to trickle down and impact the commercial real estate market. DOGE is expected to create a favorable climate for investors. Now, for real estate investors, this means reduced administrative delays, enhanced data accessibility, creating those seamless guidelines for you to make your decisions, and a more supportive environment for commercial developments. If you enjoyed this video, then click on the link on your screen now to learn about how President Trump's new major tax cuts are going to impact our economy, the exact strategies that you need to follow for real estate investing. Click the link now.